Cancers, these are your messages for June 2024. Please let me know in the comments if they resonate. That's helpful for me. Okay, so I'm looking, I actually took some notes on the messages you got for the month of May, just to kind of be in the right frame of mind to know what it is you're dealing with. So the first thing we're looking at is what to keep from the past month. So that you're being encouraged to keep the Ace of Swords, and for May, you were being encouraged to keep the Knight of Coins. So with the Knight of Coins, you were coming out of April, and you may have been taking things very slowly and being really methodical and thinking things through and just kind of letting things show you what they actually are before you got involved or before you stepped into them. And you were giving yourself patience to see where things progress. But for June, it feels like you're being encouraged to keep an idea that you had in May. Some kind of fresh beginning, some kind of idea, some kind of communication even, or insight that you've had, something kind of an aha moment, an epiphany that you had in May. It's like hold on to that. Hold on to the clarity that you got in May through the month of June. And then something that you can let go of. So for May, you had the Knight of Swords, which is interesting because it is about communication, but it's kind of like you had an idea and then you communicated it. And maybe, I'm not really sure. Like there was something about taking action on your ideas last month that wasn't that great. But what you're being encouraged to not do this month of June, that you did in the month of May, was maybe like rest on your laurels, maybe overindulge. Yeah, like with the Three of Cups, because the Three of Cups is about celebration and coming together, reconnecting with people. So maybe it's like a time where you really need to be focused and figuring out how you're using your energy and using it the right way. Sometimes Three of Cups is like a third party thing, but I don't know, this isn't a love reading. But if that does apply, then I would say to not focus your energy on that connection and to rather reconnect with yourself, to reconnect with the truth, with the honesty, with the clarity that you got in the previous month about a situation. And then the main theme of the month of June is the Magician. So there's something that you're starting out, or there's kind of like this energy of creativity, abundance, being able to create your own reality, doing things that you've dreamt of doing for a long time, possibly. It's like you're being this magical person who creates things that they want to see in their lives. And for last month, you had the Lovers in this position. So it feels like in May, the theme was about connection. It was also about big decisions that you needed to make. But now it's like you're more solitary, you're grounded, you're taking care of business, and you have ideas and things that you want to do that you're creating on your own, and it feels really magical and cool. And then something to be aware of in June, your home, your family life, if you're married, like your partnership, anything that brings you stability. It's important to kind of nurture those relationships, but also like understand what it is that's happening there, like in your home environment, in your relationships, to be mindful, to really address things as they come up, especially if there's some kind of insight that you got in the month of May that you're now kind of being encouraged to keep with you in June. It's like use that insight to discern how situations need to be addressed in the month of June. You had the Page of Cups here in the month of May, so it feels like in May the thing to be aware of was your emotions, kind of going into your emotions. And maybe that's how you got the insight, was through going into your emotions. I'm just wondering like where this came up for you. So the 5th card is something to focus on. Interesting. So there's kind of like an unconscious process happening for you in June, and you're being encouraged to focus on what's happening for you underneath your conscious awareness. It's also like the cycles of the moon. And by the way, the cancers are ruled by the moon. You're not ruled by the moon card in the tarot. That's actually a Pisces card. It's Neptune. But this is encouraging you to kind of look at anything that's been confusing, anything that's been below your everyday awareness, and possibly investigate that. And that's what's been coming up for you around home, around partnerships, around anything that gives you stability, to like see where it is that you may be getting triggered, see where it is that there's confusion, try to get clarity on things, really use your discernment. Try to act more like an air sign, like if you know any air signs in your life, like a Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini, or if you have air placements in your chart, try to really lean in on those placements where you get more discernment and you get kind of distance from a situation before you make any kind of decision about it. I think that's similar to something you got last month, but I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah, so this was card 5, which was what to focus on. So for May, you had the moon. Oh, wow. That's wild. So you had the moon. Yeah, because that sounded really familiar. You had the moon for May as well in the same position. So you're being encouraged to really focus in on your emotions and on your unconscious processes, maybe studying your dreams. I mean, since this is a theme that's coming up for you both months, it seems like it's something really important for you. So maybe studying your dreams, maybe keeping a journal, maybe going to therapy. I don't know if that's relevant to you. I can't advise. I mean, this is just a general reading, and I wouldn't be able to advise that to anyone at all. But it's just kind of just putting it out there, or just kind of trying to connect with yourself emotionally and see where these feelings are coming from and get more clarity before it is you make any kind of decisive action. That's so cool, though, that it came up again. Wild. So for last month, in the position of something you should do more of, you had the Magician with the Page of Wands, which is what the theme is for this month, right? So there's kind of a continuation there as well. But here, you're being encouraged to let go of something and move to calmer waters. If there's been a difficult situation, if there's been something even that's mentally kind of difficult for you, like the moon here, you're being encouraged to kind of see the situation, understand it, heal from it, and then get some distance from it. Get to a calmer space in your life, whether it's a physical place or whether it's just mentally being able to understand things for what they are and getting distance from them so that you're more objective and you're not emotional. But you are being encouraged to study those emotions and understand where they're coming from, not just ignore them. And something to do less of in the month of June, you have the Page of Swords, and for May, you had the 6 of Coins. So, and I remember I had a hard time describing that with the 6 of Coins. I was talking about giving and taking and how maybe you're kind of compromising in relationships. I'm not sure exactly, but I guess you could rewatch it. Here with the Page of Swords, you're being encouraged to not question things too much, like to not investigate people's motives, or like, I don't know, it feels a bit contradictory to what I was saying, but not really. It's kind of like, do spend time on your unconscious and understand why you're getting triggered by things, but don't kind of get nosy with people or yeah, it's almost like it gives me like a bit of a investigating kind of Sherlock Holmes, um, being sleuthy, wanting to know everything, because it feels like maybe there's things that you're reacting to unconsciously and they're not really based on logic, and you're needing to spend more time understanding what something is before you're addressing it. But I did say that you should address things in home and in relationships, so it's interesting that this is coming up as something you should not do. Um, Maybe also just not getting like overly carried away with the thoughts that are coming up, because you're needing to understand exactly what they are and getting some distance from them before you make up your mind on how you want to react. And that seems consistent. Opportunities that could come up. So for May, you had the Fool, the Strength card, and the Six of Wands. Really great energy, really strong, new beginnings, victory. So let's see what's coming up for you this month. You have the High Priestess as an opportunity. The Seven of Wands. And this we'll talk about in a minute. But basically with the High Priestess, I feel like that is very relevant to the other cards, because you're getting deep insight. There's an opportunity to get deep insight. It's not necessary that it's going to happen, but if you lean into the unconscious that's happening and kind of get clarity on it, and maybe do some of the things I suggested, like looking into your dreams or keeping a journal, or even talking to someone that can help you through these emotions, you might get some really deep insight. Like you might get some very penetrating insight. And then with the Seven of Wands, you have an opportunity to like defeat some things in your life that have stood in your way for a really long time. It's like you're able to finally stand up for yourself and get something back, something that you deserve. And there's two energies coming out here that I'm reading as one. It's feminine energy, it's swords, which we were talking about before as Libra, Aquarius, Gemini, and it's fire, which is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And you get an opportunity here. I'm seeing this as your energy that you get to embody. You get an opportunity to embody a very rational, very strong, powerful, feminine, detached energy where you can see things for what they are. And it's funny, I was talking about therapy before, because that does feel like a therapist to me. Like the role, like you get to embody the role of a therapist who looks at their own emotions without getting reactive. But then with the Queen of Wands, you're also getting to express yourself in a very like strong, confident, powerful way, and really set strong boundaries. That's what it feels like it is. Like you're setting really strong boundaries and getting really deep insight into your own psyche and into other people's psyche and their motivations, and how it is that it can trigger you sometimes, and how it is that maybe in the past these situations caused you to suffer in some way, and now you can distance yourself and really understand things and come to a place of peace, come to a place of calm, where you're no longer reactive to any of this anymore, because it feels like it took a lot of your energy in the past. So that's really interesting. And then for what's going to feed your soul, for May, you had the Ace of Wands. So that was like a passionate new beginning, possibly in creative self-expression or in a relationship or an intimate, connection, physical connection. Here it's similar in a way, but it's not really. I mean, it's the High Priest, the Hierophant. So the Hierophant is about commitment. It's also about authority. It's about how you obey the rules, kind of do things. But this could also be marriage, and there's two cards of marriage here. So if you are married, or if you're getting married, if that's something that you already know about in your life, not something new, then this might be like where you get your strength, where you step into your stride, right? Where you feel more confident, more alive, and more yourself is in your marriage. But this could also be that through obeying the rules, through learning about rules, through studying something, through higher mind education, through the work relationships that you've developed and fostered over time, your soul kind of shines. And what gives you joy? So this is really interesting. It gives you joy to spend time on your own with the hermit, to possibly go deeper within, to get insight, to have that detachment that's necessary for a therapist, right? To delve deeper and deeper with the high priestess and really, really get some in-depth insight. It's really interesting too that you have the high priestess here for opportunity and the Hierophant here for what's I don't know how is it expressed, what will feed your soul, because they're almost like a divine counterpart couple. It's almost like thinking of a nun and a monk, and they're both guiding you through this experience. And so you're getting joy by being on your own and going within and understanding what it is that you're going through. And it's not encouraging you to be alone. It's just kind of like in the time that you get to be alone, you're getting a lot of insight. It might be propelling you further into your spirituality. It might also be just like deepening your relationships, deepening your experiences, and enriching them so that there's less of these triggers that are happening. If I want to feel supported, I must support myself. It's really encouraging accountability and taking responsibility for yourself, for your own experience in life. In the midst of a meltdown, I breathe through the discomfort and come out the other side. That's amazing, because I really felt that the moon card is creating these kind of triggers for you. And maybe for some of you it is a meltdown. I mean, I hope not, but right, it happens. And it feels like you have enough clarity and enough of these like strong figures in your life that are able to shelter you through this and kind of help you get through this experience. You are going through a really big transformative experience if this is relevant to you. You have the Death card, which is called Passage here. So you're being encouraged to kind of release old ideas about yourself, old ideas about your life, old ideas about where you're headed in life. And you're having this really big transformative spiritual experience in the month of June. And you're connecting with your crown chakra, which is all about enlightenment. So you're going to receive a lot of insight, a lot of deep downloads. Like, I would just sit there and take notes, honestly. Anytime something like really big, you have a really big aha moment, or you recognize the connection between things, I think that's really great. An island of strong growth built from all that has gone before, a collection of learnings from many lives lived, creating a safe space for you and others to rest and take shelter. So it feels like this is important because of the learnings from many lives lived. It's like all of this work that you're doing in the month of June might feel like a lot, but you can realize that you've actually been going through many cycles. And in each cycle, you're learning. And it kind of deepens the process. So what you're doing isn't like something that's new to you. The Death card does have a cyclical energy because it's nature, right? The seasons of nature, when there's winter and all the leaves shed off the trees. And then in springtime, everything blossoms again. It's that energy. And it's interesting because we have a tree here. I wasn't even thinking about that. So it feels like you are going through these natural cycles. So fear not is basically what I'm saying, because you've been through this before, even though every time it feels new, right? Every time you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going through this. How am I supposed to deal with all of this on my own? And that may be where these kind of meltdowns come in, right? Where you're encouraged to breathe through the discomfort and just get through it, because yeah, you've done this before. It's always going to feel fresh like that. And that's why it's so effective our emotions and these emotional upheavals can be really effective in these transformations in our lives, like these death card kind of transformations. Find that place of deep peace within yourself when all around you is a storm. Shelter in this calm, settled place and allow it to fill you, flow from you, radiating out as you hold the space for all. So this feels interesting because there's 2 mentions here about shelter and creating shelter. And I believe with the 4 of Wands, that was a card that came up for something to be aware of, which is around home and partnership and anything that gives you security. And the sign of Cancer is ruled by the moon, like I said, but it's also the 4th house, right? Card 4. The 4th house is all about home, family, memories, the mother as well. So maybe your mother figure is really relevant right now as well. And it feels like through creating shelter for yourself, how you create home, how you create comfort, how you create relationships, how you nurture those connections, that's going to be very, very pivotal for you as you go through these transformations and transitions in your life, teaching you to breathe through it so that you can come out the other end, realizing you've already been through all of this before, getting enough distance, right? Needing that really good friend of yours who's maybe like an air sign or fire sign who comes in and says, you know, let's take a break, let's have some fun, or let's get some distance from this and talk about it and not be overwhelmed by the emotions that are coming up. I just want to mention the sun is here underneath the deck as well. I was feeling called to mention that when the Hermit card came up as something that will give you joy, because I just wanted to temper that message with like, yes, you can get joy from this deep work, but remember to have fun. Remember to go out. Remember to celebrate. Remember to enjoy your life, right? Because every day is special and every day is a blessing. If you guys are born in the month of June, happy birthday, and I'll see you guys in the next month.